Hey, how's it going? My name is Jake, and welcome to 3313 Photography. I have a quick question for you. What if I told you that a camera company that you probably know and love, in fact, you've probably owned or own some of their cameras, whether it be digital or film, is currently in production of not one, not two, but four new film camera bodies, and the first two are slated to release as soon as spring of 2024. That's next year. That's right around the corner, right? And what if I told you that that camera company is Pentax? Okay, enough with the theatrics, right? But we have some really exciting news. Now, you might have already heard some of this news around December of last year that Pentax announced, I think it's called their film photography project. At the time, they didn't really specify what it was. They were just looking into the development and possible future of producing things in the world of film photography again, which by itself is very exciting news, right? We haven't seen a reputable company like whether it be Pentax or Nikon or Canon producing anything for the world of film photography for a very long time. In fact, the last film camera that Pentax ever produced was in 2003. That's 20 years ago, right? That's almost 21 years ago now. But again, the exciting thing is that we're getting new film bodies from Pentax as soon as spring of next year. Now, granted, obviously release dates could be held back and things could change, right? But I have a lot of faith in Pentax in this. And the reason I say that is because last December, when they announced this project, they didn't really promise anything. They said, hey, we might be looking into the possibility of developing film cameras, but we're not guaranteeing it. They are now essentially guaranteeing it. Now, the first two camera bodies that we're slated to get in spring of 2024 is two compact film cameras. So let's talk about some of these cameras. Pentax is quoted as saying they're going to be high-end without the high-end price tag. Again, that's very vague. So what does that mean, right? When we talk about kind of budget-friendly mirrorless cameras like this Nikon Z30 that I'm currently shooting on, this is about a $900 camera body when you include tax or whatever, right? This has far more technology than a compact point-and-shoot 35mm camera is going to have. So are we talking about $400? Are we talking about $500? Are we talking about $800? Again, it's kind of hard to gauge because a company making a modern high-end compact 35mm camera is an extremely niche thing. So a couple of my other questions are, what are we going to see out of these cameras, right? For the compact cameras that we're getting in spring of next year, are we going to see cameras like the Ricoh GR1 or like the Pentax SBO line, right? My assumption is we're probably going to get one body that is going to have a fixed focal length and one that's going to have a variable zoom, right? One that's a little bit higher quality, probably going to be the fixed focal length is probably going to be a wider millimeter with a lower aperture. And then for the second one, we're probably going to see probably a lower price tag with a variable zoom with like, I don't know, like a 3.5 to f5, something along those lines, right? I'm hoping that we see two price points so that there's a little bit more of options available. And again, I think that's where we're going to see Pentax kind of leaning into. The two SLRs we do not have a release date for, but they have alluded to some of the details about what these cameras are going to possibly include. One of their biggest things that they kind of keep talking about is a manual film advance lever. What I'm wondering is, are we talking manual lenses? Is it going to have are we just going to be needing to use the manual lenses from Pentax's past, or are they going to produce a new line of manual SLR lenses? Or is it going to have an autofocus system, which I would find an autofocus system matched with a manual film advance lever kind of bizarre, but I mean, not impossible. But are we going to see an autofocus SLR body, or are we going to see two different things? Are we going to see an autofocus SLR that has full autofocus with, modern standards of what autofocus is, and you can use Pentax's modern line of lenses? And where are we going to see a manual body where it's a completely manual camera where you use vintage manual glass? Who knows, right? That's just again, touching the surface of some of the questions that I have. This is very interesting, right? This is going to change a lot of things in the world of film photography, whether it's for the better or for the worse. And the reason I say that is because the thing I think about is we've already seen a huge spike in cost of film over the past couple of years. What is this going to mean for the cost of film? And what I'm expecting is the prices to go up even more. Kodak is kind of the biggest sinner when we talk about price spikes in their film, right? Kodak has kind of said, hey guys, the reason that we're putting our prices up is so that we can hire more people to help develop film, which I kind of get, right? That's fine. But again, if we're looking at a spike of customer base buying more film, are we going to see the prices go up? And if so, are we ever going to see them go back down, right? That's kind of where my question lies, right? What does this mean for the world of film photography? But again, there are some positives here. Are we going to see companies like Nikon or Canon producing 35mm cameras in the future? I'm excited to see that Pentax is taking this leap that other companies have not taken, and we might see some other companies bandwagon off of this success. Again, if it is a success, and I think it will be to some degree. And so I'm hopeful for the future. I think this is a very, very exciting thing that I think everyone who loves film photography should be excited about, because I think that this opens up the world of possibilities for the future of film photography, and companies, like I mentioned, looking at film as less of a obsolete technology and more of a different medium for artists to accomplish their work. So what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think that I'm a blathering idiot and have no idea what I'm talking about, which is totally fair? Again, I'm a photographer. I'm not a genius. I've never once stated on this channel that I am a smart person, but I have speculations, and I'm very excited to see this. I'm very excited to see what these kind of cameras look like and what comes to fruition from all of this. Again, I'll link some things down below. I'll link the Pentax film project down below, as well as some of the articles that I'm referencing here. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I hope you have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.